threaten my job when I'm already quitting, have fun with no workers.
I work at a well-known huge grocery store in the bakery deli. I've been in the general area now for 3 years, been in management, and recently stepped down this year to focus on college. In early July, I turned in my letter of resignation, letting them know that August 13th would be my last day. It's now about mid-July now, and we've got an audit going on. Basically, everything has to be perfect. They ask you questions about your job. Everything has to be on code, etc.
Until this point, we've been having an issue with staffing.
Because instead of hiring employees full-time, they hire everyone part-time. I am the only full-time employee in my department. Because of this, there's never enough people to work. And they'll schedule for people working 3 or 4 shifts one night. And then the next one person will be closing alone the entire night, usually me. I'm fine with that. I enjoy working alone, but this night was extra stressful with all the extra work I had to do because of the audit.
I was all alone the night in question and working a shorter shift than usual.
We tend to close the deli around 8 p.m. and have 2 hours to clean up. I was scheduled till 8:30 p.m. and spoke to my managers about it and got permission to close at 5, so I could take a lunch break and have 2 hours to close up. My managers also said that I would be sent someone around 7:30 p.m. to help me close on time.
Around 7 p.m., a woman comes up to the meat slicers asking for some sliced meat.
I tell her I'm sorry, but we are closed for the night. She bitches me out for a moment,
complains that she comes here every other night and we are always open.
And I explain to her that we are low on staffing and I've already cleaned the slicers for the night, and she leaves.
About 5 to 10 minutes later, my assistant manager walks up and asked me what the problem was.
She had gone to management and demanded we slice her the meat. I explained the situation, and his response was to berate me for closing the deli down early and tell me to help her and just clean it again.
Just stop being difficult, is what he said.
After slicing her some meat, we ended up being out of a different kind. And she walked out of the store, leaving everything behind and meaning I had created more cleaning for nothing.
I was pissed. I took a walk to cool down and went to find my buddy who was supposed to come over at 7:30 p.m. and asked when he was coming over. When I found him, he told me he wouldn't be able to come over because the assistant manager had come over and given him a long list of stuff to do for the rest of the night. That pissed me off even more.
I found the assistant manager and was like, "Dude, WTF?" and reiterated that I was leaving at 8:30 p.m. and needed assistance. And he told me to once again stop being difficult and just to get it all done.
I told him there was no way I was getting it done in time,
and said that my schedule says I leave at 8:30, so I'm leaving at 8:30, regardless of how much is left to do.
I guess he hadn't gotten the memo that I was quitting soon. And so, in response, he tells me that if I can't do my job well enough, that maybe I should start looking for another job. That was my breaking point. After 3 years of working with shitty management and their backward ways, I decided I didn't need to do it anymore. I told him okay, found some of my favorite coworkers and told them goodbye, and it was nice working with them, and walked out. Haven't gone back since. They failed their audit. 6 other employees in my general area quit shortly after time due to most of them traveling out for college.
The rest are planning on leaving as well. As far as I know, the entire area is fucked up.
Hope the manager got his ass chewed out, but I doubt it.
I've reported some of the managers there for serious issues,
telling me they were too busy to help women whose lives were being threatened in store. Retaliation. Threatening to fire people if they didn't work overtime.
Causing someone to lose Medicare and ration their insulin and be hospitalized for a few weeks, and they never went anywhere.
Tuck that place.
Edit. Grammar, also for those asking, was the world of Wally.
I'm not paid to think. Okay. Edit 3. Many thanks for the awards, guys. They're much appreciated. Whilst working in a job that I'd been doing for 15 years, the company brought in a freshly manufactured degree-waiving manager. Any problems within the production area, I was always called in to troubleshoot for them and get things moving again. Mr. Fuckwitchery, the new manager, asked me what I was doing one day, and I told him that I was just thinking how to resolve a recurring issue in production. His response was, "We don't pay you to think, get back to your own job." Okay, Mr. Fuckwitchery, on my way. QNC. 2 hours later, I get a call from the production supervisor asking for help as line 6 was down again. "Sorry, Steve. Call the Mr. Fuckwitchery. He's in charge, and apparently I'm not paid to think." Tan goes calling me to the office. Mr. Fuckwitty is a rare shade of red with anger. Informs me that I need to go sort out the issue in production. Sorry, sir, I can't do that as I don't get paid to think and leave his office. Smiling all the way back to my department. Ryan in production is shut down for 2 whole shifts with people standing around scratching their heads. And he comes to visit the next day and wants to know why the line is off. Maintenance guy tells him he can't understand why it won't work properly, and he says, "Has Tom had a look for you?" Maintenance guy says Tom won't come over because apparently he's not paid to think. And he says who the hell said that to him. Maintenance guy tells him Mr. Fuckwitty told him that when he had just helped us out the other day. And he calls Mr. Fuckwitty to the line and tells him that I'd been with the company since he founded it, and I know more about this production facility than the people who designed it. And WTF are you doing telling long-term staff that they're not paid to think? And he calls me to ask if I can help out as a favor to him. I came across and spent 5 minutes realigning a couple of sensors and the line was restarted. And he takes me to lunch, offers me an extra $150 a week, and tells me that the only person I answer to in future is him and him only. To this day, that manager still scowls whenever I see him around. Edit. Apologies for being long-winded and any grammatical or spelling errors, but TBH, I don't care. Edit Part 2. For the people who don't know what a managing director is, MD.
Your working hours are 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Edit. First and foremost, thank you for the upvotes and awards. Greatly appreciated. I love all the discussions below. There's some food for thought here. To clarify a few things, this took place in Europe. I was a salaried employee, 40 hours per week. I left that job about 10 months after the event took place. I didn't get into trouble and nobody tried to fire me. My probation period was over, and we have employment laws regarding constructive dismissal, so I knew their hands were tied. About 4 years back, I started a new banking job. All was well, just that the management was pretty strict with timekeeping, which was weird as we were back office. My experience was in a similar field at another bank, and we had flexible schedules and received time in lieu. But rules are rules, so I followed them. I learnt my tasks and got to know the wider team. Anyway, about 4 months in, I started to realize my senior manager didn't like me. I'm pretty assertive as a person, and I do know how to stand up for myself. He hated it. I would speak up during the meetings, ask questions, give suggestions, and so on, while the team would stay quiet. The week everything went south, I was working overtime, which was obviously paid. On Thursday, I did nearly 2 hours of overtime. On Friday, I thought I'd leave a few minutes early as I was done for the week. My manager was off. I left 10 minutes early. On Monday, I come to work, and I got called into a meeting straight away. There were 3 of us in the room, myself, my manager, and my senior manager. Our conversation went as follows. My manager, I heard you left work early on Friday. Me, I did. I left 10 minutes early. Did you ask for permission to leave early? Me, it was 10 minutes. You know I did about 4 hours of overtime last week. Why are we having this conversation? Senior manager, yes, because you left early without asking for permission. As a senior, you should be setting an example for the rest of the team. Me, is this a joke? Yes, your working hours are 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., not 9 a.m. to 5:50 p.m. You shouldn't leave early without asking for your manager or my permission first. Is that clear? Me, got it. It's perfectly clear. I listened and started coming into the office at 9 a.m. and leaving at 6 p.m. on the dot. At first, they didn't realize what was happening, but the week after the meeting was the last week of the month, and let's say the last week of the month was intense, especially the final day. The reports had to be completed, signed off, and submitted before the month's end. We covered multiple jurisdictions and would deal with Southeast Asia in the morning and the Americas in the evening. Our team was expected to work overtime due to this. Here comes Friday, the last day of the month, showtime. I'm at my desk at 9 a.m. sharp. Most of the team have already been at the office for at least an hour. I, of course, have a cup of coffee from the cafeteria because I was a bit early. My manager looks at me and raises his eyebrow, but he doesn't say anything. Work, work, work. Break time. We had 20-minute paid breaks and 1 hour unpaid lunch. I'm the only person to go on my break. Lunchtime, everyone was eating at their desks, while I go to meet my friends for lunch. On the second break, I once again leave my workplace and go for a short stroll around. Back to work. About 5:45 p.m., I get a call from one of the senior managers in the U.S. She needs the report amended. There were 4 of us on that call. I'm doing the amendments as we speak and closely monitoring the time. I see it's 2 minutes to 6 p.m. 1 minute, 6 p.m. SM2, rambling about the report. Me, apologies, but I have to stop you right here. SM2, yes. Me, it's 6 p.m. here. My day is over. SM2, huh? Me, as per my management, my working hours are 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., so I must leave now. Have a great weekend, and we'll catch up on Monday. I logged off, got my coat, wished everyone a great weekend, and left. It was 6:04 p.m. Both my manager and my senior manager were dumbfounded by what has happened, looking pale and stare at me in disbelief. It was a glorious sight. I wanted to apologize to my senior manager that I wasn't able to leave at 6 p.m. on the dot, but I thought that would have been way too passive-aggressive, so I just left. I relaxed the rule a bit after a few months. Yet, I never did more than 30 minutes of overtime. Ironically, once my stakeholders understood that I would not be available for 10-plus hours, they started collaborating earlier in the month. I would have most of my reports done and submitted by the last day of the month.
Check out my other awesome videos.